Hey guys, it's Nicole. Fourth adventure for Gastric Sleeve. Fourth video for Gastric Sleeve adventure. There you go. It is 4:45 in the morning of January 3rd, 2013. Happy New Year, everybody. I am about to go to my EGD, my very last pre-op procedure before my surgery in 5 days. I am really excited, finding it really hard to focus in life, so much so that I just filmed this video and didn't even explain anything that I wanted to explain. I just kind of got sidetracked. I'm finding it hard to focus like at work and just in life in general, even reading books. My mind wanders off to the surgery because I'm so excited. So yeah, I can't wait to have it. So a little bit about this EGD. I'm having something called conscious sedation. Then they'll put a scope down my throat into my stomach to look at my stomach and check all that out. And I think they're going to do like a little biopsy. And I'll only be in the hospital probably like max couple of hours from start to finish and shouldn't really be affected by it that much. Conscious sedation, from if you were outside watching the procedure, it kind of seemed like I was awake, but I won't remember anything. My aunt, who's a nurse, kind of describes it as like the twilight zone. I did have this procedure done in 2010, and I really have no memory of it at all. I remember them putting the drugs in my arm through IV that were going to put me under sedation, and it burned, and the nice nurse there was rubbing my arm for me. I mentioned that the spray they put in my throat tasted like bananas, and then I was out, and I woke up in the hospital bed and was sent home like an hour later. So it's super non-invasive. They do thousands of these a day, so I'm not nervous at all. But in 5 days time, in 5 days time, I will be super nervous getting ready for the surgery. So I made this little bit of the video before the EGD, and when I get back from the hospital and I'm feeling awake enough, I'm going to make the second part of the video to explain how it went. Hopefully it'll go just as smoothly as last time. Another reason I want to do the video in 2 parts is because of this little gem. My lip ring is going to have to come out for this little procedure and the surgery, and I think it's going to heal shut. And so I just want a documentation of it. I love this little dude, and I'm sad that it has to go. My body's really weird, and even though I've had the piercing for like 3 years, it's probably going to heal up. So just a little video documentation of what I once had. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit, and Happy New Year. Here we are, Forest Park Medical Center. It's almost time for the GED. Chris is falling asleep.
GED? You taking the GED today?
I can't focus. Anywho, just thought we'd do an in progress video. Here's the water feature kind of behind us. It's a pretty cool place. Check it out. What do you think of Forest Park?
Bougie.
Bougie?
Bougie.
Do you have any Grey Poupon?
No.
So we'll see you after the EGD. Okay, so I said I wasn't nervous, but now that I'm here in the hospital with the IV and I've talked to the anesthesiologist, now I'm pretty nervous. Wish me luck. I just had my EGD, and that was the weirdest thing I've ever been to in my life. I was like super nervous. They wheeled me in the room, and they put this big old thing in my mouth, and the doctor was like standing there with the scope that was going down my throat. So I'm like staring at her with the scope, like freaking out. And then they put the medicine in to make me go to sleep, and I was out. I don't remember anything. I woke up in recovery, and I was like a chatterbox. I was talking to everybody and their mom. I told everybody I felt drunk, and that my nose was bleeding, and that I was thirsty, and my throat hurt, and I didn't want to be there, and I wanted my husband. From then, my blood pressure was too high, and they couldn't get it down. So they were going to have to give me blood pressure medication and keep me there for observation. So I did like this little meditating prayer thing, and and it worked, and my blood pressure went down. And so now I'm on my way home, and my throat and my nose hurts, and I'm really hungry, and I can't eat, and that makes me mad, and I feel a little drunk still, and my nose hurts. I think I already said that. So, yeah, 5 days. So that was my crazy videos from today. I was a little out of it in that last one. So just to recap what happened, Chris and I got to the hospital at like 5:30 in the morning, and I had to have like a pregnancy test done and, you know, sit in the lobby for about 15-20 minutes, and then they called me back, and like every step closer I got back to the bed, I got more and more nervous. And the nurses were super nice, and I met the anesthesiologist. Turns out he's going to be my anesthesiologist for the actual surgery in 5 days, so that was nice to meet him. And he was really young, and like as I was being wheeled back, he was like talking about football and stuff, so that like made him kind of relatable. But so they just kind of send you in there, and they're like, well, this is what we're gonna do. And I got really nervous once I got wheeled into the room. It's called the endoscopy room. And they rolled me on my side, and they were explaining what was going to happen. They put this little bite block in your mouth with like a hole in it so you can't bite down. And then they run a thin black scope with a light on the end of it and like a suction on the end of it down your throat into your stomach and take a biopsy. So that's all good when you hear it, but as I'm laying there and they're about to put me to sleep, the doctor is standing there with the scope in front of me, like waiting to put it in my mouth when I fall asleep. And for some reason that just freaked me out. I was like super nervous. And then I remember them saying, okay, the anesthesiologist rubbing my arm and saying, okay, I'm gonna take good care of you. And then I remember I got the weirdest feeling in my head. Like it was like just my inside of my brain was super tingly and weird feeling, and I went, oh, my head, and then I passed out. And when I woke up, I felt like I had been asleep forever, and I felt very drunk. And I didn't really open my eyes. I was like very chatty. I was talking to everyone. I was telling them how drunk I felt and how I felt like I'd been asleep forever, and my throat hurt and my nose hurt. My blood pressure spiked, so they were going to kind of keep me for observation and give me some medicine to make my blood pressure go down. And I wasn't aware of any of this because I was so out of it. And then I remember like waking up and wanting my husband, so I went, babe. I call him babe. And then I don't remember anything after that. And he remembers a lot more than I do. He has a lot more to tell than I do. But I had a really awesome nurse who actually had the gastric sleeve 2 months ago, so that was amazing to hear her story and get motivated. She's lost 47 pounds in 2 months, so I'm stoked. And everybody was really encouraging along the way. So yeah, that was about it. I still have a really sore throat, and my nose is really stuffed, and my nose bled for quite some time afterwards. And just, you know, that was the last step before my surgery, and I'm really excited. The only thing that really bothered me, you can't really see it because it's just starting, is I have like this little bruise starting to form. Yeah, you can't really see it. Yeah, you can't. I have this bruise starting to form from the IV, and it's kind of painful. And my IV really hurt when I was in there. It stung, and to me it felt like it was blown whenever the water, you know, the saline keeps filling up, but your vein doesn't accept it. But they assured me it wasn't, and sure enough, I am home now, and I have a huge bubble and swelling where the vein blew, and it hurts. So they're not going to use that spot for my surgery. Anyway, so I wanted to show you guys a few pictures of the hospital. My husband just looked at me like I was crazy. What was that look for? Anyway, here's the front lobby where we were sitting. It's super bougie. Chris and I walked in, and they handed us a pager. Here's the pager that Chris is holding. Super bougie. You know, I love it. I feel like I'm in a lap of luxury. And everyone's super nice. The hospital is called Forest Park Medical Center. It's owned by physicians. So they like want the best of care for their patients, and they do. I mean, everybody. There was not one rude person. Everyone looked like they were so stoked to be at work and to be working there. Anyway, so yeah, that was my EGD experience. Oh, I want to talk about my liquid diet a little bit. Okay, so I'm not really doing that good. I didn't go a few days, until I give in and break down and like have something small to eat. So like Wednesday, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to drink or even have a protein shake after a midnight for the EGD, so I had like a handful of potato chips like at 8 p.m. And then just little stuff like that. Like, I'm finding myself really hungry, so I told my doctor that did the EGD today, and it's a different doctor than the one that's going to do my surgery, but they work together. So I told her that how about I'm struggling, and she said that it's just really important that I don't eat like 24 hours before the surgery, because if there's food in my stomach, they won't be able to do it. So I know I can go 3 days without eating. I've done it multiple times since the liquid diet started. So on Sunday at midnight, like Saturday turning into Sunday, that's when I'm gonna be done, because I know I can do 3 days. I don't want anything in my stomach. I don't want anything to prevent the surgery. So that's my goal. I might do Saturday, but I'm worried if I do Saturday, I'll be starving. I don't know. Anyway, it's so hard. Ugh. I'm glad I talked to my doctor about it. Anyway, Happy New Year. I'll talk to you guys in 5 days for the surgery. Stay positive, be kind to everyone around you, and love yourself.
You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know